latest sir has joined after having qualified IFS. He joined Forest Services. So he did not work there just for the sake of job. So far as we know, he has really worked to serve the forest and the environment. So instead, better resource person cannot be anyone else. So sir, please address the person.
Welcome, students. As IFS officer, I was also Director Ecology, Environment and Remote Sensing for 3 years. So today is a World Environment Day. But are you familiar with these terms? You should be, and you may be. Ecology. How we differentiate ecology and environment? Ecology is the interrelationships in the web of life, whatever is living things, and how they are interacting even with inanimate factor, rainfall, temperature, altitude. That is the natural web of life. But when we include even man-made structures, cities, the railway, express highways, poles, even whatever we are doing, our own structures, they also come into play. We include, that is the environment. In environment, you have different components where you see the life. सबसे tall, highest mountain peak, everybody is familiar, kaun si hai? Mount Everest. But even in the Mount Everest, when people are going as trekkers, mountaineers, they are also leaving some kind of garbage. So this particular year, 2023, the same theme, beat plastic pollution, was also the theme of the year 2018 when I was Director Ecology, Environment and Remote Sensing. So how to phase out plastics? When each and every grocery item is being wrapped in even your pen, and so much use of even printing paper, writing paper. So resources are required. So how to meet the resources, whatever we are consuming? So as per the Sustainable Development Goal, there is one goal which talks about responsible consumption and production. Can you tell me which goal is that, students? Which goal is that which focuses or emphasizes on responsible consumption and production? If I am hungry, then I can go for that kind of junk food also because I am hungry and I have to survive. Or if I am feeling thirsty, I may go for mineral water. But if you have the other options available, or you are not feeling that thirsty. For example, I was just offered a mineral water bottle. So I was not feeling thirsty. I see I can reach home without taking water. So I said no. Why? Because I am not sure how it will be that bottle will be recycled or it will not be recycled, maybe thrown to, because there is a chain of people who have to dispose it. So then in any chain, you are not sure whether it will be thrown into the Tavi river, whether it may be burnt. I have seen with my own eyes the people are burning also sometimes. So better to reduce. I am not saying you can't help in this world where the consumption has really multiplied as compared to our earlier days. But definitely you can always reduce it. So which particular Sustainable Development Goal talks about responsible consumption and even production. Whatever we produce, there should be a circular economy. Now we are talking about that. Otherwise, sometimes we go for bricks, brick making in the brick kilns, and then we are not bothered how much pollution is there. We are not bothered about that. Can we make the brick making process itself that eco-friendly, so that pollution is also reduced? Or you can go switch over to some fly ash bricks or even bamboo bricks. So there is a new technology where we can always go for the substitutes. Substitutes are available because we have the technology. We have the artificial intelligence also. It is also solving our some ticklish problems. But whatever is prescribed now, that is difficult to implement in holistically as per prescriptions. We fail. 100% implementation is beyond human capacity, because there will be some, for example, the triple train accident. How it happened? When we have really improved our way how the trains are to be controlled, or even their upkeep and maintenance and even everything. But there might be some kind of sabotage or human error. Sometimes you can't have 100% foolproof system. But foolproof system we always appreciate or see in the natural world. In nature, each and everything has been so meticulously designed. You have the rotifers. They are playing their very, very unique ecological role which other animals cannot do. Butterflies with their coiled proboscis kind of thing, they are able to reach that nectar where other insects may not be able to reach. Beetles cannot, honeybees cannot. So this specificity is only possible in the natural world. But man-made material, they are always creating garbage. Can that garbage be again recycled and put to use? So maybe we go for some kind of biofertilizers, farmyard manure. If there is a kitchen waste, obviously everything is not non-biodegradable. Some things are biodegradable also. But then we don't have place. For example, if you are putting up a multi-storied building, you don't have the land where to go for that kind of manure making process. But then there is a talk, every household should segregate biodegradable from non-biodegradable. Ultimately, that should also be segregated even at the level of, you can say, the municipality landfill site. If here you are segregating at home, but the collector is collecting and putting in the same transport vehicle, and ultimately that is being dumped beside River Tavi in whatever area landfill, same truck and everything. So even the potato peels are going there, which could have been really added nutrition to the soil. So Sustainable Development Goal 12. How many Sustainable Development Goals are there? 17. So can you tell which one is one? Number 1 talks about what? So nobody is perfect. Even sometimes I also forget. But let us recapitulate. What are those? So some of the very prominent Sustainable Development Goals you should know. No poverty, eradication of poverty is number 1, I think. Number 2 is about hunger. 3rd is about equality, gender equality. We talk of equality, there is no equality. Then you have goal number 6, drinking water, safe drinking water, access to that. If governments are the way earlier, our Maharaja time, we used to have the tap water, and that tap water used to be of good quality. So we never thought of putting the aqua guard or something like that, and we used to fetch the same tap water, even for the kitchen or for drinking, whatever. Are we able to supply the drinking, high quality drinking water to the cities? If we are not, then we will definitely go for more and more garbage. So even this shift, if government takes, and obviously there is a possibility, this is not beyond possibility or beyond human capability, it is within our capacity, we can, and if we invest in this, definitely, and the day we will be able to supply pure drinking water or safe drinking water to all households, and we have not to bother for artificial purification, so then definitely you will reduce the load of plastic generation, garbage generation. Second, which is very important, if government is able to, you can say, provide better transport. Even transport, there's a High Court order also, wherever the vehicles have already finished the 15 years plying period, so they should be now called off. They should not be seen on the roads. But even otherwise, whatever those vehicles, even have 10 years, 15, they are also spewing some kind of harmful pollutants. So are we able to switch over to electric kind of thing or solar driven vehicles? And innovations are there. I am simply telling you, but already these innovations are being forced. We have some biodiesel also. So many plants are used for making the biodiesel kind of thing. So green energy is also very important. I think green energy, solar is main, where we are at goal number 7. Then 8 is equally important, decent work. Wherever we work, if the conditions are not good, your employer is not able to provide the safe drinking water or better transport mode and something, then you will feel not good at the workplace. And with that, definitely you can contribute to the for the betterment of environmental conservation. When you are happy, when you are in peace with your family, with your employer and with your surroundings, only then we can talk for the contribution of environment. So first is, are we able to, all nations, even United Nations is failing in really getting the peace or earning the peace between two warring nations, say USSR and Ukraine. Despite you are so many bodies and we have all the concerns, how much ammunition must have gone into the air and how much loss of biodiversity, how much contamination of air and soil. So many things are not within our control. You will say, why to talk that? But we should know what is happening around. So all blame should not lie on, say, one nation, maybe India, maybe China. Although we are also polluting, no doubt. But the way developed countries are polluting, their share is much more as compared to our share. So there is a divide between the rich nations who are technically very sound. They have good technology because there are less population, more resources. They have innovated, and we are fighting for 100 plus years with the Britishers. 1757. What happened in 1757 this month? This month is June. 23rd June. What happened? 1757. Can you tell? Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it was written on your this banner also. What happened? Battle of Plassey. So Plassey is also a tree. Okay, it is not, I am not able to see. But many butterflies use that flower. Flower has a nectar. And even the larval host tree. Which is that tree? Plash. Also named as Dhak. And after the name Dhak, we have the name Dhaka, capital of Bangladesh. Similarly, the Plassey, Battle of Plassey. Why Battle of Plassey? Plassey is again Bangla word for Plash or Dhak. That is Polashi. And Polashi word has been just modified by the Britishers as Plassey. And that Battle of Plassey again connects us to some tree. And not only tree, but that connects us. You can sit, whosoever is feeling giddiness, so then sometimes your weakness. I gave you that option. Another 5-10 minutes. I am also standing before you when I am already, I have crossed 63. Okay, now I am in 64th year. But still, because of many factors, whosoever is feeling uncomfortable, you can. I will just take your 5, 6 or at the most 10 minutes more. So, as per our community traditional knowledge, we can also sit if they are sitting. So, traditional knowledge and traditional practices. So, how our forefathers were able to hand over the water bodies. So, we have the Mansar and Saruisar, and in pristine glory. Can you tell me which particular new creature was discovered from Mansar? I must have talked earlier also. Anybody if you remembers? Which particular creature got its name after the name of Mansar, sacred lake, and how it happened, some evolution of some new creature because of sacred faith. We will not pollute it, we will not throw any garbage in this. We have reverence. Reverence means something stopping you to pollute or something to degrade that water body.
Seal and trade.
You have heard of seal and trade, Cnidarians, Cnidaria phylum, but they are mostly marine. But you also have some examples of freshwater Cnidarian. For example, Obelia. Obelia is marine perhaps. Hydra is freshwater. Hydra is freshwater. But what we found, a new creature, that was only Medusa form, with tentacles and this small few. That is named after Mansar as Mansariella lacustris. When I am talking about this is the year 1976. At that time, Professor Y.R. Malhotra and M.K. Jyoti and third S.P.S. Datta. These three, fourth maybe, but I think these three, you can see even under Google, Mansariella lacustris. And this was the discovery of 1976. After that, it was also discovered from another lake in America. Then, second discovery from Michigan Lake. And they can't change. First name is no universal name, accepted name. You can't go for another naming of another creature. No, because it was a similar creature which we found from Mansar. So, whatever our forefathers have observed, not only observed, are conserved. And we still see those conserved sites. Maybe Pad Devta, stretch of water body. I don't know whether all of you have ever visited. Can you raise hands who have visited? Second time you must visit. I think they should be taken to that. Where there you will see the conservation of fish. And that fish should be declared as state fish of Jammu and Kashmir. So far we have not declared. Because there is a lot of fish diversity. For example, in Kerala people, they have declared here fish. Even Bengal perhaps they also, because there are a lot of fisheries and fish diversity. But in J&K we also have the lot of, but mostly we are talking about trouts which are introduced. Even carp which we have introduced in Mansa, that's a folly. That is not good. That devastated our own species. But whatever. So which fish stands conserved in the stretch of Tavi, not here. This is a Tavi river, but because there is no faith here. Earlier it used to be, but very difficult. There is a old city, new city, and we have a problem. We can't practice that conservation here. But at least in some stretch of water body, very near to Nagrota, Katal Batal area, there is a Pad Devta. Pad Devta is again a serpent god. See the beauty. We have even worshipped the serpents. So there is a Vasuki Nag, उन्हीं के सन माने जाते हैं Pad Devta, who brought Tavi river water to irrigate, to put moisture in this particular tract, which was parched land and no water availability was there. It is as per mythology, no doubt. But you have to be show your gratitude to something. You can say it is nature, it is biogeochemical cycle, it is biodiversity, whatever way you think. Whether it's a traditional way, whether it's a modern way, whether it's some other theory, but ultimately lies that some thing is there, some system is there, which is sustaining our requirement of maybe water, and all these creatures are playing some crucial role. Sometimes common man cannot appreciate or understand the intricacies which as a scientist we unrival, but still people nurtured that reverence for water bodies. So we have the Mahasir. Mahasir, हमारे in Dogri is called Mahasir. Basically Maha है, Maha मना बड़ा, सिर हो सकता है, शीर्ष उसका थोड़ा उससे ऐसे लगता है कि नाम large headed type ऐसे लगता है उसका, महा शीर्ष वाली, महासीर, महासीर क्या कहते हैं उसको जोलॉजिकली? वेरी गुड. अब कौन सी है वो? पिटीटोरा है, खुदरी है, टोर है. मोस्ट प्रोबेबली इट इज पिटीटोरा. ठीक है ना, आपने शायद किया होगा उसको. सो वट एवर दैट इज ऑल्सो कंजर्विंग द particular species because of the sacred tradition. So whatever is good in our traditions, past practices, traditional practices, they also need to be revived. They need to be strengthened. At least knowledge should be passed down the younger generation. That is required. And at the same time, you should know what are the new capabilities, new innovations, new biotechnology innovation, artificial intelligence. Now, many things computers they are doing. They are telling us. I was wondering when I was Director Ecology, Environment, Remote Sensing way back in 15. I came to know carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere per parts million, because as a director I have to share some ideas. That was just a government job. So it was told to me at that time 410 ppm parts per million. That was way back in 16. And despite my pious efforts, I launched the Forest Food Festival. That was in October of 2015. Where we can consume the homemade foods rather than going for packaged foods. So that is also a way how you can reduce the, as we used to practice this. Whenever there is a picnic, whenever there is some kind of celebration in the schools, we usually cook our meals there itself or used to carry from home. Even our mothers were that magnanimous to help us in having that cooked food. So sometimes you may have the problem, your mother might be serving somewhere, she has to rush to the bank, or she is serving in medical hospital. So there are many complicated problems. Sometimes you can't help it and then you have to, but still you can reduce this carbon footprint. So what I was referring to, new technology, new innovations, they are welcome, but cheating cannot be foolproof. There might be one or two chinks or the negative thinking people who may use it for, say, terrorist activities to kill. How many people have been killed? God forbid, if it is a natural by human error which couldn't be controlled, that is a separate story. But if, as some indications, if somebody did, A, B, C, anybody, for whatever reason, even if somebody is a must, you do this and you will be rewarded. I am just giving you a hypothetical condition. If it is there, can that action be pardoned? where you have lost so many souls, and not only lost, many are injured, and they will have to cry for throughout your life. So it is very important to have the peace. And there is also very good goal number 70, which talks about better public people partnerships, where we own this atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, butterflies, these animals, pollinating insects, everything, it belongs to everybody. It's a common resource, and it will put us in that prosperity mode if we will conserve it. This is a common resource. Here we should be having a single, you can say, the vision to protect it. But that is not happening, despite the climate change, that agreement, the Paris Agreement of 2015. And even we celebrated the decade of biodiversity. You know when we celebrated decade of biodiversity? Can you tell me? वो 10 साल कौन से थे जब we, मैंने नहीं, United Nations have given us that decade of, international decade of biodiversity, where each and every individual should talk about biodiversity, should familiarize himself, herself with biodiversity, different components, plants, animals, microorganisms, everything, fungi, and then should take measures. और इन 10 सालों में कायाकल्प हो जाएगी, वो हुई नहीं, बट एटलीस्ट वो 10 साल चले गए ऐसे ही, 2011 से 2020 तक. सेकंड 11 में होप all of you were born, so you must be in some school, so you should know. But otherwise this information is available on the Google, so no problem. And after we finish that decade, we could not achieve much. But second decade was devoted, which is going on. And this was the year 2020-21. On the same day, today, World Environment Day 2021, when United Nations declared the decade of ecosystem restoration. Another decade. Decade of biodiversity is over from 11 to 20. But that doesn't mean that we should not now take any measures about conservation of biodiversity. That's going on. But those 10 years were specified. And despite that, we couldn't achieve much. And we have the corona also. Otherwise, this concluding global meet was to take place in China, Kunming, somewhere in 2020. But because of COVID times, we couldn't. And that was to be deferred in, it happened last year, 2022. And that too in Canada, Montreal. So that is called Kunming, Montreal Global Action Plan, where we have, that is again, you can say, just advisory kind of thing.